Hey guys, thanks for stopping in for another episode of I Want That Reviews. My name's Kris, and today we're going to be taking a look at the EOTech XPS2 holographic weapon sight. So this is the EOTech XPS2 holographic weapon sight. It has a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $539. I've seen it as low as $449 on slick guns. This is advertised as being a lightweight, non-magnifying holographic optical sight. It is similar in a lot of ways to red dot reflex sights, but it features a little bit different technology that utilizes mirrors. Interesting piece of information about it is a holographic sight will not change size when viewed through magnification. So that reticle is going to be the same size no matter how you're looking at it. The reticle itself is a 68 MOA ring with a 1 MOA dot. It is available with just the single 1 MOA dot, or 68 MOA ring with 2 MOA dots, one that you can zero to the 50-200 yard zero, and one that's at that point sighted in for 500 yards. This is the shortest, smallest, and lightest EOTech on the market currently. They advertise the size and weight factor being convenient for hunters and law enforcement or military because it doesn't take up very much space. This configuration leaves a lot more rail space so that you can have your irons like you would normally, or you can mount magnifiers. The whole point here is to leave a lot more real estate open on that top rail. It is 3.8 inches long, 2.1 inches wide, and 2.5 inches high. Weighs in at 9 ounces even. It's got unlimited eye relief. It is water submersible up to 10 feet, has a nitrogen seal inside of it to keep it clear and keep it from fogging, and is compatible with the standard 1-inch Weaver or 1913 Picatinny rail. It takes one CR123A lithium battery that will give you 600 continuous hours on the median setting. This features a automatic shutoff feature. If you power it on with the down button, you'll get 4 hours of use before it automatically powers off. If you power it on with the up button, it will give you 8 hours of use before it shuts down. Now, before I get into the actual meat and potatoes of the review here, I want to talk about a couple things. Most everybody's familiar at this point that knows that EOTech has been dealing with a lawsuit and actually has a current ongoing buyback program. Now, that was for a couple things. It's for thermal drift and parallax. Now, something to keep in mind is there is a thermally induced current with any diode you use. This is just standard electronics information. EOTech uses them, Aimpoint uses them. One should know that whatever thermal drift happens with an EOTech will also happen with an Aimpoint. It may not happen to the same degree, it may not be as noticeable, but it's something that's going to happen with any of them. A diode controlling a set point is going to sustain thermal drift no matter what you do. There's yet to be a diode invented that can sustain increased temperature without experiencing some sort of set point drift. It's worth noting, though, that you can't really compare the EOTech to the Aimpoint because they're completely different systems. EOTech is a heads-up holographic display where Aimpoint is an emitter-based system. So obviously they're going to react differently, but the nature of all electronics is to experience some sort of drift. I do think that EOTech needed to make their literature more clear. I think that they needed to make it match reality with real applicable information that the average Joe could read. Now, since this lawsuit has gone into effect, it seems like they're coming around to that. They're bringing the ship around, and I've seen more information about it. It's also important to keep in mind that our weapons are never maintenance free. You have to understand them, you have to work them, you have to maintain them, you have to practice with them and care for them. You don't just do things once. You do them again and again and again and again. This is how you become proficient. This is how you know that you can trust your rifle. Now, I would be willing to say that less than 5% of people, and I would say that's probably a generous number, less than 5% of people will ever shoot in the conditions required to make these things fail, or even have one that will fail, myself included. The military law enforcement implications aside, I mean, I understand why the government dumped the project. I get that. But the civilian mass exodus that's going on with EOTech, I think, is ridiculous. It's become an overblown thing where somebody needed an excuse to jump ship. If you apply this to other things, you know, if General Motors was to come out and say that they discovered that if you drive your Suburban at speeds above 150 miles an hour, it may cause mild drivetrain problems. I'm pretty sure that people would be okay with that knowledge, knowing that the likelihood of using it in those conditions is near zero. If you're going to change elevation, if you're going to change climate, you need to re-zero your weapon. That's the bottom line. And it's not a set it and forget it thing. Re-zero it, make sure you're where you need to be. Now, to talk about my actual experiences with this sight. I've used a couple of EOTechs in the past that weren't mine. I have this one now. I've also used a couple of the knockoffs in the past, and I will say that there's some nice knockoffs out there, but there's nothing quite like the real thing. Initial impressions, this guy came in a very nice protective box. There's very minimal packaging. The box itself comes with a couple information cards, comes with a warranty card, a quick start guide. It comes with an Allen wrench to be able to adjust the set screw. It also comes with a thumb stud that you can use to attach it, and then obviously it's foam padding so that in shipment or in transit or whatever you do, it doesn't get damaged. I was also impressed that batteries were included, because you don't see that too often. One thing you'll notice when you look through a real EOTech and not one of the knockoffs is that the reticle itself is kind of grainy. It's not a solid line, and that's because you're working with an actual laser product. Now, I've been running this guy on my rifle since April 27th, so here we're at June 23rd. So I've been running it for about 2 months. I've had an opportunity to put quite a few rounds down range with it. You can see some of the stuff here where I'm working with it, engaging different targets. I sighted this guy in at the 50, 200 yard zero. An interesting thing to note about that is if you set that to the 50 and 200 yard zero, the bottom of the ring is effective for 7 yards, so you can use that for close quarters. When you're adjusting this guy, you get approximately half an MOA motion for each click that you have, and you've got those nice settings here. They're identified very clearly. It co-witnesses very nicely with my backup irons that I have on here. And the total adjustment range on these guys is plus or minus 40 MOA. It has a very large viewing window. I like the fact that it allows for both eyes open aiming. You don't have to squint. You don't have to do anything, that in that way. The brightness adjust is nice. It's easy. It's incredibly fast. Going from target to target, both eyes open, it superimposes that. It really is a heads-up display, and it's very nice. When you first get it and you look at it, if you've never run an EOTech before, it seems like it's really big. It seems like a very large object to put on your rifle, but it takes up very little space. You'll notice that there's still a whole lot of real estate that's available on this top rail, especially on the receiver side of it, so that I can mount a magnifier on there if I wanted to. Speaking about the thermal drift that's going on with it, like I said, I haven't had the chance to subject this to adverse weather conditions. I'm probably never going to. I can say though that it has gone from being in a around 60-degree house to a probably 100-degree car. It sat in the back of my black Suburban on a hot day, and I didn't see any kind of a zero shift. So that's the experience I've had with it. At this point, I can't say that I've experienced anything like that. As far as lights go, I love the field of view. I love how large that window is. It gives me a huge field of view. I don't get the tunnel vision that I tend to get sometimes when I look through a tube optic. I like that enables the both eyes open. I like the size. I like the fact that it's small. It doesn't have the real long front end. I like the fact that it takes a CR123 battery. It takes a single one of those that sits transverse, and this guy will give you that 600 hours. I've not seen any kind of an issue with it, and I've put several hours on it. So I do like also the automatic 4 or 8 hour power down, and I'm really impressed with the way that they're handling the buyback program. You look at something where, yeah, they had this thing happen, they lost a lawsuit to the government, that whole thing happened, and rather than just not saying anything or trying to brush it under the carpet, EOTech said, here's the deal. If you're not comfortable with your site, if you don't like it, send it to us. We will give you retail price back for it. That's incredible. I mean, you just don't see that from companies. And honestly, I can't tell you how many times I've seen on different forums, different boards, where people have said, I bought this thing used for $300 and the retail on it is 450 or 539 or whatever it is, and they file a claim and EOTech gives them the full price back for it, and people are taking advantage of it. So I really like the fact that EOTech is willing to stand behind their product and really go to bat for it and say, fine, if you don't like it, we'll take it back and we'll give you the retail cost for it. Dislikes, it is a bit of a cost prohibitive item. This isn't something that your budget builder is going to be able to just go out and slap on a rifle. I have saved for quite some time to pick up an EOTech, and I was not about to let this lawsuit thing change my mind. I also don't like the thumb stud that comes with it. You can, if you look here, you can see you've got your cutout here, and I'm just using the standard Allen key. You can use that thumb stud and it really sticks out off the side of it. It's clunky, it's in the way, I don't like it. Obviously that doesn't matter all that much because you can put the Allen bolt in it and that fixes it. Those are both pretty minor dislikes. So overall I'm going to give this guy a rating of 5 out of 5 stars. The cons I don't think are enough to take away from the pros. I would say that there's still a good product. There's really no reason for everyone to jump ship over it. I love it and I don't have any reason to be unhappy with it. I will go ahead and leave a link to their website as well as their Facebook page in the description below. So as always, thanks so much for watching. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. So please do like, subscribe, and share. And just keep checking back on a weekly basis for more reviews of awesome products just like this one that'll make you say, I want that.